welcome back to Teen Story Share. This week we're continuing What We Need to Survive by Kalee Elizabeth. If you missed the past several weeks of reading, I'll be linking those down below. And next week we'll be starting a brand new book. And we'll be in chapter 6 today. The next morning we awake to the sound of a staff member, Stacy I believe, knocking on our door telling us to wake up and get ready for church. Little did she know that I've been awake for hours, watching Lily's belly rise and fall as she let out soft snores beside me. I brush the hair away from Lily's forehead and give her a kiss. Time to wake up, Lils. She groans as she opens her eyes until her bright blue eyes meet my green ones. She smiles at me and pushes off the blankets and hops off the mattress. I follow her steps, just in a less enthusiastic way. I search through our belongings and find the least worn outfits for church. I panic slightly that it won't be good enough, but then I see that the other girls' outfits are similarly worn. We shower, brush our teeth, do our hair, and change. I wear a denim ankle-length skirt with a tan top, and Lily wears a white dress with pink flowers. I simply leave my hair down, but pull Lily's hair into a high pony. I give her a side hug as I make eye contact with her in the mirror. She forces a smile and leans into the hug. Then we head downstairs for breakfast. Lily waves to Annie, who is motioning for her to sit by her. Lily hesitates and looks at me, but I nod and try to give her a smile of encouragement. She needs to live a semi-normal life, and that involves spending time with kids her age. Lily grins and rushes over to sit with Annie, who greets her with a hug. I look around for a seat and see Joseph, looking about as awake as I feel, pointing to an open seat next to him. I go over and sit just as breakfast is beginning to be served. It's eggs and sausage today with apple juice or milk. I move my eggs back and forth with my fork, not able to will myself into taking a bit. The lump in my throat holding back tears has turned into a rock in my stomach. I know if I take a bite, it will make me sick. I glance over and see Lily clearing her plate and chugging the last bit of her milk. Good, I think to myself, at least she is finally getting some decent meals and going to put some weight on her skinny bones. Not hungry? Joseph nudges me, making me jump and drop my fork to the ground with a loud clatter. The kids look briefly but go back to their meals unbothered. Whoops, sorry to scare you, Joseph says as he leans over, grabs the fork and places it back on the table. I'll go get you a clean one. No, it's okay. I'm not very hungry this morning. If I'm honest, I haven't been hungry since yesterday at lunch, when reality seemed to set in that we are in an orphanage, in a different state, far away from the place I once called home. I get that, Joseph says as he picks up a fork full of eggs. I wasn't that hungry either when I first got here, but at least try to eat a little each meal. Keep your energy up. I nod, but don't bother to touch any of the food. Think you can steal some coffee again today? Joseph smirks and holds back a chuckle as a staff member walks by. Wait until we get to church. They have a cafe there and you can grab some coffee. Like good coffee. Just tell the staff it's hot chocolate. I smirk and shake my head. Stealing and lying, huh? Hey, some things you just have to do to survive. My smirk fades away. Some things you just have to do to survive. Rosie, get Daddy another beer, will you? My father's slurred words yelled at me from across the house. Mama was at the hospital, getting a cast for her broken wrist from Father's last episode of rage, but he made her promise to say that she slipped on the mopped floor. I was 6 and Mama told me that she would only be an hour and that I would be okay at home, that I just had to listen to Daddy and do what he asks and I'll be okay. I remember seeing a reassuring look in my Mama's eyes, but that didn't stop the knot from growing in my tummy from worry. I sighed at my father's request and remained in my room, pretending I didn't hear him. I already got him 4 beers and a bottle of whiskey. Though I didn't understand the concept of alcohol at my young age, I knew it made Father hurt Mama and made him yell, Rosie, get Daddy another beer now. I cowered in a corner of my room, holding my stuffed bunny to my chest. I didn't want to get Father something that would make him hurt Mama. Rosalinda Victoria Hart, get your little ass down here and get me my beer. At that point, I knew I had to go downstairs, so I slowly shuffled my way to the living room. There you are. What the hell took you so long? Are you deaf now? I started to shake as I stood in front of my father's recliner. Well, why are you still standing there? Get me my damn beer. Father slammed his hand on the TV tray next to him, causing the empty bottles of beer to fall to the floor and shatter. I don't want you to drink anymore, Daddy. It makes you hurt Mama, and that makes me sad. The rage in my father's eyes flashed before I had time to react. I saw the hand fly that slapped me so hard across the face that I fell to the ground, into the shattered glass. The sharp sting of the glass in my palm caused me to scream, as blood ran out of my palm down my arm. I tried to push myself up, but was met with a kick in the stomach from my father as I yelped out in pain. How dare you disrespect me? How dare you? You think because your mother talks to me like that means you can too? Huh? Father is in my face and I start crying. He slaps me once more across the face and I taste the metallic taste of blood in my mouth. Stop that crying stuff. That's only for babies. Father sits back down in his chair and flips the channel on the TV. I'm still on the ground, starting to sit up, and holding back any more tears for fear of the pain it will cause. Now, get me my beer, then go clean yourself up, and I expect you to get me my drinks when I ask you. The first time, understood? I nod, get up, run to the kitchen, and grab the beer and give it back to Father and run upstairs to the bathroom. I look at myself in the mirror and see a split lip and a bruised cheek. I look at my palm and see a deep incision that probably needed stitches. Instead, I washed my hand with soap and water, put multiple Band-Aids on it, and washed my face, letting out a few tears along the way. As I finished and looked at my little 6-year-old self in the mirror, I heard my father call for another beer. I sighed and started down the stairs. I didn't want to give it to him, but even as a 6-year-old, I knew I had to do what I needed to survive. Rosie. Rosie. I startle back into reality and see that it's just me and Joseph left at the table. I'm sorry, what? Joseph gives me a questioning look. I said, come on, it's time to take our dishes to the dirty bin and then load up into the van for church. Are you okay? You look like you saw a ghost or something. I look at my hands and see that they're shaking and can feel a layer of sweat forming on my brow. I wipe my hands on my skirt, then fold them into my lap to steady them and look beyond Joseph because I know that if I look at him, he'll see right through my disguise. I'm fine. I grab my full plate and push my seat out from the table. Come on, let's go. We don't want to be late. Joseph doesn't look convinced, but follows me to the dish bin and then shows me the way out to the van. I push aside my memories as I take a seat next to Lily and let her lean her head on my shoulder as we gaze out the window on our way to church. I sit in a pew next to Lily on the end of an aisle and try to listen as the preacher gives his message. Mama was a big believer in Jesus and the church, and we grew up going to Sunday morning services. But after what happened to Mama, I'm not sold on this whole God thing. If he was real, wouldn't he have saved Mama? Punished Father? Why would he even let Father around us in the first place? It doesn't make sense to me. I sigh as I look to Lily, who is coloring her bulletin with a pen she found on the pew. I see a lot of the kids drawing or flipping through the hymnal, not paying much attention to the sermon. But then I look to Joseph and see him intently taking in the message, writing notes, and nodding in agreement with what the preacher is saying. I don't understand how he is being so faithful to God when he killed his family. If God is almighty like what the preacher always taught us back home, why does he make his children suffer? I'm about to zone out and stare out the window when the sermon draws my attention. Then you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. A few amens resound in the chapel, but I'm frozen in my seat, remembering another day with Mama. I was on a walk with Mama, skipping down the sidewalk, leading to the park that had a trail into the mountains. When we arrived at the trail, I took in the scenery around me. Trees, a creek, birds singing, the smell of fresh water and honeysuckle. We walked further down the trail and up the mountain until we reached the very top that overlooked a small town. My mother scooped me up and held me on her hip while we looked down upon the tiny people running through the town. I could hear giggles of joy from everyone. Mama, we go there? Little 5-year-old me sensing that this town was a lot happier than the home where I was growing up. No, sweet Rosie, we must stay where we are with Father. We can't leave him. I didn't understand why we couldn't just leave. I knew my father made my mama sad, cry, and hurt. Why did we have to stay with him? But Mama, we could be free. The look of sadness in Mama's eyes grew, though she tried to hide it. She let out a sigh and kissed my cheek. We can be free even at home, Rosie. Remember, as long as we have the truth will set us free. As long as we trust Jesus, we will one day live in the best freedom ever. A pat on my thigh and a whisper of, Sissy, draws me back to reality. I see that everyone has stood to sing the last hymn of the service before we load back up in the van and head back to the orphanage. Because it's a Sunday at the orphanage, it's a day of rest. The kids play games in the common room, take naps if they wish, or watch whatever is on the television. I'm sitting in the common room, watching some kids show with talking dogs, when Matt, one of the staff members, approaches me. Ms. Hart, Ms. Sullivan would like to see you in her office. I rise and follow Matt, not having the energy to ask questions. When I arrive, I see Lily sitting on the love seat looking nervous. I sit next to her and wrap one arm around her shoulders while pulling my knees to my chest. Rosalinda, feet on the ground, please, not on my couch. I fight the urge to roll my eyes at Miss Sullivan, but obey. Now, girls, tomorrow starts your first day of classes at Golden Streak. In these backpacks, you have some textbooks, notebooks, and pencils. Here are each of your schedules dictating the times you need to be in the classroom. Absences are noted. Understood? Lily nods as I stare at the schedule. Trigonometry? Literature? World history? Yuck! I shove the schedules in each of our backpacks and rise to leave without a word. Not so fast, Rosalinda. Lillianna, you may go play. Your sister will be with you shortly. Lily looks hesitantly at me, but I force a smile and encourage her to go back and play with her friends. Not even 2 seconds after she is out the door does Miss Sullivan begin speaking to me. Rosalinda, you've been here for 2 days. I just want to check up on you. How are you adjusting? Any concerns that need addressed? I shake my head and stare at the off-white rug on the floor, wondering if it was ever a bright white. Rosalinda, it is rude to not respond and make eye contact. While you are here, I expect to bring you up using the best manners. Understood? I shook my head. It's not like I ignored you. I raise my voice because I hate the idea of Miss Sullivan being the one to raise me. Mama raised me perfectly. I try to respect my elders, but sometimes it's hard to even form words. I do not like your tone, Rosalinda. How about you go to your room until you learn how to respect your authorities? I jump up from the couch, head out of her office, making sure I slam the door extra loud on the way out, and storm up the stairs, ignoring the disapproving look from Matt. I throw myself on my bed and groan into the pillow, unaware that Samantha is in her bed drawing. Rough day? I look up and see Samantha continuously drawing, not bothered by my outburst. I flip around and lay staring at the ceiling, not responding. I'm not about to tell an 11-year-old about my problems. It gets better. Miss Sullivan is a tough cookie, but you get used to it. Just give it time. I don't respond, wishing I could just disappear. Mama always told me never to hate anything, but I can honestly say that I completely hate Golden Streak Orphanage. All right, I'm so glad you could join us for the first several chapters of What We Need to Survive. And if you'd like to find out what happens next to Rosalinda and Lillianna, this book is available for checkout in our teen room. Have a great weekend and see you again next time. Bye!